Everybody, this is Mark from Frogdata, and today we're going to go ahead and review some of the reports within Frogdata that can be the most beneficial for F&I managers as they use the tool to navigate their daily job and look and see what they're doing for the month, what they're pacing, how to look up previous deals, and then also to compare themselves against others within the dealership so that they can consistently improve their performance. So the first thing you want to do as an F&I manager when you log in, you're going to be looking at your daily sales, and that's going to be found under the Variable Ops tab. You simply click on Daily Sales Tracking, and you'll be able to see right away the deals for the month. And at the top is going to be the 10,000 foot view with everything compiled. As you scroll through, you'll start to get into some of the breakdowns of what you've sold, finalized versus non-finalized, versus forecast, and then you can look at your average gross profits, what you're pacing, and total gross profits as well. The daily vehicle sales report is actually a really good one for finance and F&I managers to work on. And really, what do they want to look at? They want to eliminate the finalized deals and look at the booked and delivered, because this will tell them, hey, what deals are still sitting out there that haven't been closed out or haven't been finalized yet. And if you hover over this, you can see what it is. And then down below, right below that, is a report for the month. And this is where you can go ahead and track what you're doing. We were looking at the booked and delivered up here. So if you went in here and typed in into one of the filter boxes, booked or delivered, either one, you can go ahead and see which ones are there. And let's say in this instance, Kason is the F&I manager. So now you can filter down and see all the deals that Kason has. He can see how old they are, what status they're in, and then if he wants to manage them or put any notes on them, such as, hey, I'm waiting for the customer to bring back the title to his trade, or he owes us $1,000 check. You can go ahead and click on the comment bubble, and you can type in notes. So, like a note would be owes us title to trade, right? And just go ahead and hit save that. It timestamps it, keeps it attached to that, so that anytime you go in and you toggle the comments, you can see that comment on there. And then as you refresh each concurrent page, that'll go ahead and populate. So this is really the first step for a finance manager, is to put notes on an existing deal that happens on a given day. So the next day or on a daily basis, there's another report called Contract to Cash, and this is kind of where the deal flow takes place. So you can go in here and look at it. Since we're looking at a group right now, maybe an F&I director is going to look at this, and they're going to see, okay, here's my different stores, here's what I have unfinalized, here's what I have currently in my contracts in transit. So you can really get a quick snapshot of how much money is sitting out there waiting for you to collect. As you scroll through the page, you'll see a report that looks pretty familiar to the retail deal list from the previous page. This is called deals that have not been finalized. And what it is, it's showing you any vehicle that has been marked sold but is not in a finalized status. So anything that has notes on it, if you hit refresh comments, it'll go ahead and populate notes. And I believe probably, let's see, Kason. So one of these two are the ones that I just put the notes on. Yeah, this one right here. So I can see the notes in there, and I can manage this on a daily basis to make sure that everything that I'm doing or how I'm packaging it up before it goes to accounting is all being done right here. So I can do that, and then once that turns into a contract in transit, so it's been finalized in accounting, and now you're waiting for money, you can actually scroll to the report below. Just click off the filter in case there's deals that are sitting out here recently, which in this case there's nothing sitting out there since it's the changeover of a month. They haven't done nothing sitting in contract and transit status yet. So you would be able to track that as well and see those same notes from the retail deal and then from the book to finalized, unfinalized report. So here's where you can manage it, and you can manage your contracts in transit until they actually fall off the report. So, and then once it's done, once the deal is done, if you ever need to go back, under variable ops, you can go over and click on deal analysis, and deal analysis is a pretty cool report page. It actually gives you a listing of the current month of deals and your past 3 months. So if you want to go through and look at all your deals, you can go ahead and type in, filter it to a certain person. If you want to download this, just simply select the check mark in the upper left corner of the table. It highlights everyone for this F&I manager, and then click the hamburger and hit export selected data as a CSV, and it'll put all of those deals into an Excel spreadsheet that you can manage and work with and follow and do whatever you need to do with it. Down the road, if you ever want to find out, hey, let's look at one of my older deals, back end gross. This one here, 2622. What was on it? If I copy my stock ID number and then I punch it into the deal inspector and hit search, now I can go ahead and say, okay, there's that deal. That's a 2017 Express. It was used. Let me see the details of that. So if I click on View Details, it's going to go back and it's going to pull the Frogdata Deal Recap. And the deal recap is going to have all of the important information that you need to find out what happened on that deal, how were things allocated, who was on the deal, what did you collect, all the vital information that you expect to see in a deal recap, and then a ton more because we populate them into other insightful reports throughout the tool. So for this particular customer, you can see that the APR was 5.99%. They didn't have a trade. Here's what was sold. Here's profits. And then if there were, any collected any fees or service contracts, they'd show as well. So just some pretty cool stuff that you can go back and look up deals and find all the information instead of having to constantly go back to a file or go into the DMS and try to get the information. Everything's right there in a tool you can access from anywhere. So, and then profit analysis, if you ever need to go back, this report lives under variable ops as well. If you ever need to go back and let's say you want to look at a previous month and see what your numbers were, in this instance, we're going to go back to March 2021. We can hit run. It's going to go ahead and regenerate all these reports. So it's going to show you what were your units, what did you sell, what was your gross, what were your averages. There's your entire retail deal list if you need to go through and verify or check anything. Some other charts and graphs that are on here. But for F&I managers, here's where you can go back and look and see what you did, right? So if I'm going through here, I can see, and these are all filterable. So if I click new units, Dennis had 52, he had the most. If I click on retail units, you can see that Dennis had 77 total units. That was his gross. These were his averages. So you can go ahead and compare yourself to the rest of the group. As you scroll down, this chart from left to right shows volume, averages, and active, or whoever has the most volume is the dark gray. But you can see and compare yourself really quickly how you perform as far as quantity and average, gross profit per vehicle as an F&I manager. And then as you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will also see profit pools. And so this is where you're going to see, okay, how many units were there? What was the makeup of cash versus lease versus finance, and then what was your penetration, right? So what was your penetration by type of vehicle sale? And then down below, you can see also the same thing. What was the gross by product, right? So insurance, warranty, accessories. So really everything having to do with a previous month of sales all resides under the profit analysis, and that includes F&I manager numbers. So a couple other things which are really, there's a lot of reports in Frogdata that you can go to. Like we do have a lender analysis, which we'll go through in a different video. An F&I product analysis that just shows penetration and compares averages as far as how you're doing going into, selling on certain types of vehicles and how different managers do. But for the most part, under the employee tab are these two reports called F&I Manager Comparison and F&I Manager Analysis. So F&I Manager Comparison is really, exactly what it says. It's a comparison. So I'm comparing myself versus the rest of the F&I managers. And so as you can see, we're at the demo group. So you can look at it and compare yourself to everyone in the group. Or if you want to go, say, to just your store, you could click on your store. It's going to refresh all of the reports, and now you're looking specifically at your store. So the first two reports up on top are manager PVR and monthly gross. And you'll see right away that there's a 6-month average, so you can see on average what you can expect to do each month. And then if you want to break it down and go into each month, you can click on the drop down and you can see the months going all the way back 6 months plus the current month, so it's 7 total. And you just go ahead and click on the month and hit run, and it recalculates those numbers so you can see exactly where you were. The next two reports down are then counts and penetration. So how many of each did you do? What was your penetration on those items? That's your 6-month average, and then that's your actual current month, or you can select a month going back. So And then down below that, if you want to go through and look and see, hey, what did I sell? What were my makes and models? What did I make the most on? Just a deeper analysis, it's also there for you. So that's the comparison report page. The F&I manager analysis page is actually, if you're going to sit down, this is more for like a general manager, general sales manager to sit down and do a review with a particular F&I manager. So what this is going to do, it's just only going to take the information for that particular person that you're sitting with, and it's going to go ahead and take a look at your previous month, and then you can look at, as many months as they were there prior to. So you can look at their entire history and see what they do and how they did it, and if there's any areas that they need to work on as far as improvement on a current month. We do have the section down here called Dive into the Data Lake, and if you click on that, um, actually, I don't think there's anything else on this page, but when you do see that, it's typically where there's more reports on the page. So anyway, that's the F&I Manager comparison and F&I Manager analysis page, which live underneath the employee page. And as you go through the tool, you will find other things that you might want to focus on as an F&I manager. Not sure how you are going to set up your store or who's going to get to see what. You also have under variable ops a report page called sales receivables and payables. So if you need your F&I people or sales managers, nothing has been set up here. For us to set that up, we would just go to the receivables page, and we can choose, or payables, and we can choose which ones of these we want to have our F&I managers following up and tracking. So let's say you want to have them follow up on finance receivables. You can select finance. Here's a listing of all of the finance receivables from the GL chart of accounts. And then down at the bottom, I can actually take that finance and I could say, okay, I want to show these on the sales page. I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to click run. And once this cycles through, now my F&I managers who may not have access to accounting reports will now have the ability to look at these receivables from a variable operations report, which they would have access to. So the sales receivables and payables, now if I select that page, you will see now there are the finance receivables. And so there's the type, there's a threshold. You can click on that and change that depending on what your threshold is. There's your totals, there's your aging, and then down below there's a listing of each one of them. So if you wanted to go through and put notes on any of these, you can go in there and just click right on it, and you can change status. You can put notes in, whatever you need to do as far as managing receivables. And then we also offer that for payables, which is like things like WEOs or whatever you need. So in summary, just letting you know that Frogdata does offer a wide variety of reports that are very beneficial to F&I managers, and the majority of them start from variable ops, daily sales tracking. Then you have contract to cash, deal analysis, profit analysis, and then as we go through to the employee tab, we've got the F&I manager comparison page, the F&I manager analysis page, and then last but not least, under variable ops, we do have that sales receivables and payables. So for any more information regarding F&I manager reports, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at www.frogdata.com, and click on the call the 800 number, or click on the button to email us, and we'll be more than happy to help you out with whatever reporting needs you have. Thank you.